Test, test, test. Check, check, check 1, 2. I think that's fine. Audio balance. Hope so. First, let me update the wish list number. It's 378, which is awesome. $378. Okay. Yeah, so just going to play the game a bit. Because I've added some things yesterday. In particular, these was a lot, so I have to look it up, so don't miss something. So yeah, first of all, I made the enemies debuffable, which they weren't before. So I can they can be poisoned now. They can be stunned, and they can be blinded, which just does nothing. It's actually just stunning and poisoning does something to them. And fortunately, I put in enough padding into these structs so that the save files are unaffected, which isn't that big of a deal right now, but it tells me that my system works, making such a huge change without changing the save game data. Then I added a hammer weapon. That's the reason why I made the enemies have status effects. So the hammer will sometimes stun an enemy. The visualization of that is pretty bad right now, so I'll need to improve that. It's not that clear that an enemy is stunned. But yeah, that's in the game now. Just because I didn't have a blunt weapon, and with how the weapons work becoming more and more stable, I thought adding another one would be fine. Thinking about it, I haven't added a secondary effect to the hammer. Oh, that's the stunning. Yeah, I'm stupid. Okay. In the other stuff is I made the level up increase the lowest stat now. So previously, if you leveled up, a random stat increased, which I thought was kind of a gameplay feature. But also, yeah, made it harder to reach the end. So now it increases a stat randomly, but always the lowest one. And then I made daggers retrievable sometimes. I think it's around every third dagger you can find again. And it'll just well, that's actually a good point. I just thought of the well, I'll have to look into that, because the way I do it is, if you throw a dagger, I know the entity that was hit by it, and then I just insert the dagger into its ground pointer. So every entity has a ground entity pointer, so it can stand on things, and I just insert the dagger there. But what if the entity dies? And then what happens to the dagger? Because the dagger should be released. So I have a garbage collector for garbage entities. When an entity dies, it's marked as dead. And then the collector comes, it pulls the ground out of the entity, destroys the entity, frees the memory, and puts the ground where the entity was. So what happens if the entity that was killed drops something? Because I had I'm not sure if that's related, and I'm pretty sure it's just me not recompiling correctly, but I had a very bad crash yesterday, in that it was a double free in the entity map related to the garbage collector. And all I have in the debugger is where the garbage collector crashed. I don't exactly have the reason or when the actual error occurred. So that's a very bad crash. Might be related to the daggers. Yeah. I've added a screen shake when you walk into a web, but I don't like it very much. Maybe I'll get used to it. Okay, anyways, I'll just note this. What happens to retrieved daggers when the entity dies and drops something in the same turn? Okay. Next thing, I made some spiders not attack with not have a ranged attack, so they'll just hunt you down, just to spice things up. And I mean, implementing that was super easy. I just removed the ranged attack flag. Every other time a spider spawns. And yeah, I put some spiders in the cocoons, the spider cocoons. So if you destroy a spider cocoon, a spider might jump out of it. Same for the bushes. There's a low chance that a bush contains a spider or a snake. Just to keep things dangerous. And most of the time, you don't have to destroy bushes to get where you want to go. Sometimes you have to. And then, of course, there's traps as well. Alright, let's actually throw some daggers. See if the game crashes. I've also added these berry bushes back. So they... In the overworld, food I have are the deers, mushrooms, and now the berries. And they aren't more abundant. They just round robin. It chooses one of the three to keep it a bit more interesting. And I got my dagger back. Awesome. And yeah, I've been thinking about the charms. And well, they are pretty bad right now and need more gameplay specific effects, which I'll do today probably. That's fighting for time, what the time I have with adding the critter particles, which are, I think, would enhance the visuals quite a lot. And also help with not backtracking on accident. Second thing is the charms, of course. Third thing is a little story introduction, and so I don't have much time. I can't create an elaborate cutscene or anything, but I can probably create a intro screen for the game where the world just slowly pans and I have a scrolling text. Much like the old Zelda games did it. Of course they have visuals and show you interesting things. All I have is the map. I think that I should actually have that, because the only thing I have right now are the little texts on the Steam description that are facing the player. Of course I have more stuff in my mind, but yeah, that's pretty much hidden. So yeah, that's the other thing. What else did I do? I made some enemies call for help. So kobolds and wolves, if they're low health, they will draw other kobolds and wolves into combat, which can be pretty devastating, especially if they're all sleeping. And I thought that was a little thing I could do for variety that, yeah, I mean, took basically no effort. Then I turned the whites into skeleton archers, because honestly I have no idea what a white is. And it didn't have a special ability, so I turned them into archers. But they only turn up halfway through the game, roughly. Okay, why is this a dead end? Then earlier today I looked at the random distribution of the starting points, because I'm still a bit confused as to why the northern and northeastern part of the map appears more. And what I did, I just ran 500 path generations, printed all the stuff into a CSV file, just with fprintf, uploaded that to a CSV plotting website that's free, and looked at the distribution with what is it, a plot or something, and it looked completely random. So I looked at the code and I was, Jesus. Originally I wanted to see, and that skeleton blew my thought away. Originally I wanted to see, yeah, if the backtracking is an issue. So the pathfinding, it's not A star, it's the pathfinding that I need for the game, to find the run. It chooses neighbors, but there's a chance that it either, like in the game Snake, it runs into itself, and with no other way out. So imagine it walks into a narrow straight, and the only way out is on the other side, but the other side collides with the other part of the path. So then that path fails, but I added backtracking, so the path can backtrack I think pretty much all the way. So I can backtrack a couple of times and then see, okay, is there another option? And I thought the backtracking was broken or something. I looked at that, but then that looked fine. I mean, it's kind of dense code, so I just glanced over it and it looked fine. But then I saw I have a counter. If the attempt at finding a path has backtracked more than 100 times, I just break and say, okay, this failed, try somewhere else. I increased it to 500, and I think that solved the problem. So the path generation takes a bit longer now, and I mean, potentially it takes forever, but it's actually pretty fast for what it does. And yeah, it can backtrack up to 500 times now. And that includes moving on, backtracking again, moving on, backtracking again somewhere else. So you can backtracking 100 patches away still counts to the 500. But yeah, I think it's fixed. So that's awesome. It takes a bit longer now, but that's also something I need to implement, which I could with the intro screen, which is that I don't have fade in, fade out to black transitions between the when switching between program modes. So the game has program modes, and then one of those is just the game, playing the game. And the game has game modes itself, but the program modes are things like the debug mode, game mode, editor mode, and landing screen mode. I don't have a transition between them, which is, I mean, makes the game look a bit cheap. Look, that Cobalt alerted its friend. Makes the game look a bit cheap, but also I can't hide the path generation times. So what I could do is I could fade to black, generate the path then, which takes 200 milliseconds or something. I mean, it's a noticeable hitch if you press play right now, alongside the generating a save file, which is huge. And if I did that, I could also hide compressing the save file in the darkness of the screen, which would then make compressing it more feasible. But yeah. Oh. Okay. Seems like the arches appear 1/3 into the path. Maybe I should gear up. Why are there 3 of them? Okay, anyways. That was arches. Okay, no idea how I got to the save games again. Then I added a pendant to the deers in the underground, which is a lizard now. Haven't seen one. So maybe... Oh, Jesus. Maybe that didn't work. I also made the mammoths insanely strong. So you probably would want to run away from them. I mean, they're not insanely strong, but they have insanely high health. Okay. It's funny that that didn't wake them up. Okay. Potion health. I'd like to have a shield. So strength, defense. Well, I'm at 2, so that's okay. Oh. And just... Oh. It's a crash. Uh-oh. Yep. That's the crash. Did it occur when I killed the raptor? Let me look at the code. And have some background music. So the Heisenberg still lives, but maybe I can defeat it. Okay. P30 kill. Yeah, okay, raise abort. Malloc printer corrupted. Size versus previous size while consolidating. Corrupted size. This is previous size. Okay, it's a free call. So the same as the other one. So this is probably the same bug. Let's look at frame 8. Okay. And that is... Come on. 757. Removes entity at index I. That doesn't help me that much. And it crashed. Did it crash on the ground? Uh, 757. It did crash on the ground. No, this is misleading. It crashed while freeing the whole entity. But that entity didn't have a ground. But what connects this crash to the other crash was that I was fighting spiders with the cocoons. So maybe it crashed last time on a spider that spawned out of a cocoon, and this time it crashed on the raptor that spawned from a bush. And honestly, how I am spawning those is a bit weird, because I put the monsters in the loot tables. That means when the bush is marked as... When a bush... I think the loot is put into the ground of the bush. Bush is then destroyed. And then this happens. Replace entity with its ground. And then it, yeah. So this happened to the raptor. The raptor landed in the entity map by way of the bush's ground. Then the bush got freed. And then the raptor died, probably. And it was freed, and then it crashed. So it's probably the way I spawn the monsters. Which is here. Loot, and I return a object index. Which happens here. So this is the kill entity function. And Okay, if the ground is not null, this is the bush now. E is the bush. If the ground of the bush is not null, then return, because we need the ground pointer. Then we get the loot. I call new level an upgrade, which I actually don't need to call in the... I call this here as well. So that's... don't need that. And chest. Okay, where are the monsters for the chest? Oh, they are in... they're somewhere else. What is this? 1045. Monster surprise. Okay, this happens. But in the loot... well, it creates a new entity. And puts it into the ground. So yeah, this is actually a bad idea. So assert kind item. And I think... well, that's actually a type. So I can only drop items. So the special functionality needs to live here. Which is annoying. Which is annoying. Because this is use. The use function for all the stuff, but a bush is handled with being attacked. Well, I still haven't found the real problem. Because this should pretty much work. Let's compare this with this. So yeah, what this does for the chest, which has the same effect, something jumps out. It replaces the chest entity with the kobold. So the worst case would be that this leaks memory, but somehow wouldn't know how. But yeah, I use it for the path as well, and for the chest and the loot. What is the problem? I mean, anyways, don't have enough time. So I'll just put this in. But it does then call kill on the chest. Chest doesn't have... Oh, the chest does have loot. So how does this work with the chests? Because... with the loot. Because the loot items are entities as well. That makes no sense. So maybe the loot route should work. Maybe this is something completely different. Okay, I can inspect this actually. Type, kind. So this is an NPC. An enemy. Yeah, that's the raptor. It does not have a ground. And this looks completely fine, this data. There's no corruption. So what's the problem? What did it say? That corrupted size versus previous size. I might have to Google that. Heap memory structure has been corrupted. Memory is freed via free telepathy attempts to merge newly freed block with adjacent free memory blocks to prevent memory fragmentation. To safely do this, it validates the size metadata of the current block against the previous size written in the next contiguous block. Those two values do not align perfectly, it detects a security hazard. Okay, heat buffer overflow double free. Yeah, it would have told me if it was a double free, no? Hey, Ethan, how's it going? Looking at a bad crash that happens since yesterday. And I'm pretty sure I know where it happens, but I don't know why it happens. Use after free safety is matched. Corrupted size versus precise. Flashbang. Oh, Jesus. I have implemented. Okay. Practical cause is quite simple. Memory chunk control structure fields in the adjacent following chunks are being overwritten due to out of bounds access by the code. Okay, then it's just writing memory. Okay, then I'm just writing something in the wrong place. Going all right. You? Oh, have you ran GDB LDB? Usually it shows the function visible cause error. Or it might be a LLDB thing. I don't know if GDB gives a stack trace. Yeah. Looking at the trace here. It's pretty weird because the data is completely fine. This is the pointer it calls free on. Yeah. Which is fine. But then it crashes with this. Where is it? Corrupted size. Which is weird. And that happens in... That happens in GCI. That means garbage collect at index in the entity map, and it crashes right here. And that says if the entity, so the entity is marked as dead because the raptor died, I killed it. And then it looked at the ground and saw it's null, so it can just free the thing, which it did here. But then it crashed on this free call. And the how this data was allocated is where was it? And yeah, is here. It's allocated here. Which is totally fine. Because this is, yeah, so I hit a bush. I killed a bush, and the bush dropped a raptor. And the raptor attacked me. I killed the raptor, and then the game crashed. Which is, but the raptor is fine. The raptor's data is completely fine. Did I change something? and didn't recompile. Because that's what I thought was happening last time. So this happened before with a spider coming out of a cocoon. So something's not right. Something is off. Yeah, this is what I tested it with. So let's, for the sake of reproducibility, put in 1,000 bushes and search for raptors. Oh, no raptor this time. Oh, that's assert fail. Yeah, that's the assertion I put in. That's so stupid. Yeah, that was not a valid crash. Oops. Anyways, why was that still running in the background? Okay. I could up the chance. Then maybe... So yeah, but you can see it happens rarely. Okay, there was a snake that didn't crash. There was, or I'm poisoned. What's the wishlist count now? It's 378. I just looked that up an hour ago or so. Okay, what is happening? Works fine. Okay, that's the mail, I guess. On my door, but I didn't order anything. Great. That was my doorbell. The package delivery guy usually just rings all the bells till someone opens. Okay, let me... Oh, my leg is asleep. Damn, I was gonna say getting over for reply legacy sleep, yeah. Wait, I'm still testing. Well, why does it not crash? Oh god, it's the Heisenberg. I know it. I mean, I kind of know how to fix it. Probably. The what bug? The Heisenberg. Heisenbergs are bugs that are insanely hard to fix. Or actually, they are bugs that just happen sometimes, and you have no idea of why they're happening. Okay, I'll have to get that. Yeah, one sec. Yeah, there was a police asking questions. Wasn't the postman. What is it? No questions about me. I'm not in trouble. They just asked about my neighbors. Yeah, let me go to the bathroom real quick. like to ask some questions about you not using Emacs. You know, the German law states that you must Emacs and not Vim. Yeah, it was the Emacs police. Yeah. Yeah, but they were friendly and didn't seem in a hurry or something, so I think everything's fine. But yeah, okay, I can't find it. I'll do what I think that will fix it. And then that's hopefully done. But I would actually like to know why this crashes. But I don't have time. So let's put in the assertion again that I don't spawn enemies using the loot tables. Which doesn't sound well. It doesn't sound good if you speak it out loud. So where is it? Chest. There. So for bush and for no. Let's do them separate. Cocoon. What happens is, yeah, this is not sure what this will break. But if I return the 0 here, no, I can't do that. Okay, let's fix it in a more hacky way and say okay, this is the bush. Bush is flagged as dead. Then in comes the loot. It's placed in the ground, but if it's not an item, well, actually, if it is an item, then put it in the ground, else use the other trick. Do I have ET? No. New entity, that's OI. New level. And let's move this out. Like this. Okay, this should work. If not, then well, worst case I could just remove the spawns. And that'll fix it as well. Because this didn't happen ever until today. Well, yesterday technically. After I added the bush spawns. Well, it might actually be caused by any other of these things. But yeah, bushes work. Didn't pay attention, maybe the cocoons also worked. Oh yeah, and the berry bushes are back. What else did I do? Yeah, I added the buff stat potions. So you can find potions that will buff your one of the stats for, I think it's 200 turns. Oh. And yeah, look at this. This is a melee spider now. Not a ranged one. So that's cool. But I haven't figured out the drop rates yet. So it's... I've been using the... what's it called? Random bag pulling style of randomness. And what I nested it. So there might be a bag. So I have a bag for, that's a loot bag for supplies. And in it, I now have I have potions. So it's one potion, it's one medicine, it's a dagger, and then it's a couple of times nothing. And the game shuffles this bag and pulls from it until it's empty, and then fills it again and shuffles it. So that the distribution is pretty even. And into this bag I added a rare pseudo item, and if that is pulled, I pull from another bag that has the has the stat potions in it and the key. Yeah, so I moved all the keys. I removed all the static keys in the world and put them all in the loot bags. So that's more varied now as well. Yeah, so the potions just give you an effect. But I haven't seen them drop since I put in the rare drop. So they might be too rare now. But we'll see. Let's chop some more bushes to see if the game crashes. Uh-oh. Great. This is a nice spawn point. Pretty idyllic. So I tried to... So many people on Reddit said that they didn't like the contrast. Which is, I mean, it's fine. I tried to increase it a bit. Well, I mean, it's not contrast, actually. It's just the low color value clamp that I have. Has nothing to do with contrast, really. In the original meaning. I try to increase it. That means I try to lower the high pass on the color values. But it just doesn't, it it's super harsh. If I put it any lower, I lose the ability to glance over large parts of the image, because they are, to my eyes, grouped together with this level of grayness, and that totally falls apart if I lower the gray color so that it recedes more in the background, because everything all the colors begin to spike and fight for attention. So yeah, I think that's a limit that I can't change. I think the contrast aesthetic is quite nice, TBH. Yeah, I think so too. I really like that it has a papery look to it. But I understand that, especially with the vignette on the edges, this large area that's just gray, that's a bit unsatisfying. But yeah, I actually think my hands are bound with this one. I thought of a feature idea, a moon-sun dial that turns clockwise to gradually show the moon over time, and then the sun as the day-night cycle eases in and out. Like Stardew Valley, I think. But I think I never understood the clock in Stardew Valley. I mean, that would be awesome if there was, let's say, you could find, or you could get infected with a curse that turns you into a monster at night. If something like that would be in the game, something that really depends on the day-night cycle, then that would be an awesome idea. But right now it's just purely visual, except that monsters sleep. I don't think that's enough to highlight it in the UI yet. But yeah, I love the day-night cycle, and hopefully I'll find some more cool features to highlight it. We're back. All right. Okay, let me get some walking backwards again. Also, one thing I could do to help people and myself actually not getting lost all the time is keeping the bushes that you cut down. Sorry, my dad called me and my MacBook took over the audio and I answered on there. Oh, funny. For a second I thought the police is now ringing your doorbell. Would be weird. Okay. Okay, no crashes. That's pretty good. I think it's solved. But I'm probably jinxing it. And I should actually check if the if I have... Wait, can I? Can actually calculate that? No. So I'm a bit worried that this list that grows upwards will grow out of the screen on the top, but because that might be a problem. No police, all right. That's good. Add strength. Okay, I mean, I'm pretty... Okay, only 20% in. I mean, it's pretty easy so far. In this run, at least. There was a police helicopter circling my area last night, either missing person or chasing someone. Sure to lock the doors and windows. Don't fancy some random criminal jumping through my window or door to hide. We had that as well a couple of days ago. It's pretty weird. It was a helicopter hovering over the city in broad daylight. A police helicopter. Just hanging in place. But they were probably sightseeing with the police chief or something. Because nothing really happens here. And if a helicopter goes up, it usually means someone escaped the retirement home. And is on the run. Once happened to a friend of mine, where a chase was going on and the two criminals sprinted into his house and hid. Oh, Jesus. That's... yeah, you don't want that to happen. But his dog scared them out of the house, so it didn't last long hiding. Good boy. Yeah, there was a Facebook post for my area about a man missing, so I'm guessing it is to do with that. Oh, okay. What do I use? Let's use the sword for a while, and the daggers, of course. I think the daggers weren't the cause of the crash. But let's anyway. Nice. Wow, 3 strength. Last time a police helicopter was flying around was a few months ago. It's when they were using thermal cameras in the cold weather to see if people were growing weed in the fields, growing weed in the fields, or in their homes, because they would run hot. In houses in the attics. Oh, that makes sense. That's funny. They haven't caught me yet. The mastermind. No one's suspecting. Wrong way. I mean, I could also just add landmarks so you don't get lost. That's, of course, the solution with the most effort. For this one, I remember a house a few towns away was raided because the snow never settled on the rooftop, but did on all the other houses. That's really funny. Hey, Wolf, do you live in a wheat town? Yeah, actually. What's going on? South Wales can be rough. Seems like it, yeah. Oh, medicine. So I'm pretty stacked. Oh, I should be throwing stuff. Hey, move away. Oh. I have to be pretty vigilant to throw the daggers. Okay, I'm out. I'm tempted to remove the charms again and turn them into gloves and shoes. But that, yeah. I'm having deja vu. Have I talked about this yesterday? That this would lead to Diablo. Having same items but with different effects. Three cars in the tarmac is back to square one. Yeah, the the roads are getting pretty bad here as well. I mean, the main roads are fine, but oh. Thank God I made the mammoth really slow. Oh yeah, I wanted to make the trolls bigger a bit. That is taller. I'm always forgetting. Okay, I'm almost at the halfway point. Oh. Okay, that's actually nice. So these mammoths are basically invincible. So you have to run past them. According to the UK police crime map, it's shoplifting, youth nuisances, and people riding electric bikes and scooters dangerously. Pretty tame here for the last few months. Cheap asphalt that they can buy. cheapest asphalt they can buy, probably. Yeah. Ethan, tell them to buy better asphalt. That will surely convince them. School parking obstruction, one drug dealing crime in the last few months. Okay, my town isn't as bad as I thought. I mean, sounds like the same over here. Okay, can I survive the mammoth? Uh-oh, still coming. Still coming. Oh no! Why is it still following me? Okay, you can't outrun mammoth. That was actually funny. Let's give it maybe not twice the health. Well, it's actually pretty tame. Oh, it's 3 times the health. Yeah, I think that's fine. Troll times 1.5. Yeah, the secret evil cartel still not discovered. But yeah, that was a good run. Was sadly cut short by the mammoth, but let me actually see if I can beat these things. Pretty easily. They are tough, but that's okay. So yeah, the changes I made yesterday didn't break the game, so that's pretty awesome. Actually, made it a bit easier with the potions, the stat potions. Oh yeah, I want more mist. That's what I was missing this whole time. Oh god. Doing math. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Mist, mist, mist. How much do I need to increase the drop chance now? Twice? But this is square. Oh god. Let's try 35. Where's the mist? Yeah, I should probably move that not in the gameplay objects. Yeah, that's stupid. Okay, that's better. Um, game object. Let's put the mist here somewhere. If this is 0 and random chance 1 in 20, get the same mist. There's the mist. Okay, it's maybe a bit much. Slightly overdone it. But I think it would be nice to have... What happened? Did it crash? I bought it. I triggered it again. Not sure if it was off screen. Is it a new error? It's a new one. It's an assertion this time. But I had 2 instances of the game running. And the one I was not controlling, or maybe I controlled both ones. Okay, I'll just ignore this error for now. Because the game was running twice, which probably screwed it up. Also a bit much. And while I'm here, let's do this. So tile 220 and color 0 needs to change to, what was it, this or this? Okay, most of these are gray, which is weird. Hello? Where are the green ones? None are green. Okay, so let's decide on this maybe. Or the blue one. My problem is I know that they're there. The green ones. I should pick the same color. Should probably be the blue one. Okay, could fix this. Oh, there it is. So that's color 40. Okay. The float looking thing up just placeholders for particle effects. Yeah. Just placeholders. Okay, proc. Let's reactivate this. This says go over all tiles in the world in all layers. And if it's tile index 220 and actually I think that's the only place where this is used, but let's just be safe. And it has a color of 0. Then now it has a color of 40. And that will write it into the whole world. Yep. I mean, that's not bad. Maybe daytime, please. I really need to add console commands. But yeah, this daytime. Oh, do I like the other color better? I mean, I have this. No. And I have this. It's a bit lighter. No idea, actually. Definitely not this. Let's try the greener one. That's actually the one I used already. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I now need to save this. Okay. And then turn that off. That's how I change a lot of things fast in the world. Small things, of course. Just iterating over them. Jesus. I could make the mist. Oh, actually, I want mist there. Give me the mist. Yeah. Great. Okay, this is a weird one. That's not supposed to be. Oh, come on. New game. Yeah, the mist needs a while. That's a bit unfortunate. I didn't know it had such a large radius. Would you ever provide the editor to players who create their own levels, regions? I can imagine people creating their own stuff for D&D style gameplay. So definitely not soon. Maybe far into the future. You'd have to have some modding system, and there's not much point if they're single player. Thinking about it now, I mean you could still share maps online, but yeah, there are so many constraints to make a map work in this game right now that yeah, it's actually, if the editor was more like more user-friendly and would have a much more constrained and streamlined purpose, then that would maybe make sense. But right now I'm not sure if it would make sense. Yeah, but this is actually, I find this very pretty. Never thought it would turn out this nice. This one dungeon, that is. The rest, it varies, but this is pretty nice. Yeah, now imagine if you had an awesome sound ambience with water and maybe wind brushing through the bushes. Maybe a glimmer wind chime sound for the stone. And deep rumbling in the background. And some rubble silently falling. Could be pretty epic with good sound. But yeah, that's, I mean, sound is a shit ton of work. But maybe I'll get there someday. Definitely possible. I mean, I have been a sound designer in my previous life. How difficult would it be to implement lava? I have colored lighting, but that's super finicky. But that would work with red lighting, I have the wave effect of the water, so I could just use a bright color, a bright red and yellow, plaster that on, give it red lighting, and that would be basically done with a lot of tweaking, of course. Like some underground dungeons that has lava flows. Oh yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah, that would actually be awesome. Maybe in a second region. That would be a nice idea. That would actually be cool. Maybe a region that's that has a large volcano in its center, with lava flows going streaming out over the whole region. But you have to be like more than level 1 below. Yeah, it sounds like something for the future. Yeah, that would actually be wicked. That would be awesome. And maybe more like Iceland and not Hawaii or something. Yeah, Iceland is ideal. It's such a dynamic landscape too. Yeah. Iceland's beautiful. But I haven't been there. Swamps, snowy plains, large rivers, volcanic areas. Oh yeah, large icy rivers. And just steaming earth fields. That sounds awesome. Geysers. That would be awesome. I mean, wait, let me think. What do I have? in terms of terrain. I have one more mountainous region. I think that's actually the most mountainous. Maybe I'll place it there. Then I have one coastal region and one marshy region. Well, it's pretty porous, the landscape with water. So that could also be Iceland. And what I have right now is more highlands. But yeah, those are the three others. Mountains, which should actually be mountains, probably. Mountains, coast, and sorry, and a marshy swamp region. But I mean, I could put a volcano in the swamps. That sounds awesome. I just need to thread the needle with the... Well, actually, I mean, it should fit the theme with the Lost Kingdom. So that has to be somewhere. But I mean, technically, this region where the game starts could be hundreds of miles away, but yeah, it should be sensible. It should make sense. But when I say where the game starts, then let's say there's a second region in the game, then I could just throw that in to the pool of the path. So or I mean, it's probably better to split the game into acts. Yeah, that's much better. So it's you complete this region, and then you complete the second, and then the third, then the fourth, and then the other 16, and then you reach the end. So yeah, maybe the terrain shouldn't change as much between regions. Or a swampy volcano could actually just span 2 regions, with sub-regions, of course, like I have right now, with some areas more snowy, more rocky, but overall, yeah. And I probably need more colors for the other regions, because I only have 16 right now. But I don't use much. So I have a palette like the NES of 64 colors, but I use only 16. So the rest is free, basically. So that's good. Okay. Critters. Let's do critters. No idea what I was actually trying to do apart from changing the water, but let's add the critter particles. Maybe I can do that or begin that in a relatively short time. Clean, make status. Well, what did I do? Fix crashing bug with them in loot. Okay, let me turn on parents. And then let's start with where's mist? Okay, mist ripple critter. Oh, I have crit for crit is taken, of course. So what do I call this? My flourishes. Oh, well, actually, I need emitters for each one of them. So, with what should we start? Let's start with beetle. Yeah. Yeah. That's good. Beetle. That's like that, and then right where I placed the mist. Oh. I want them not that often. Let's just do it the stupid way. Okay. And then in the where is mist? Mist is in game. Emit particles. Okay. If the emitter is a beetle and the distance between the particle emitter and the hero is less than 4. Well, let's say 6. Might have to adjust that. Then emit a particle. What do I call the particle now? What's another word for streak? Or for stroke? Stripe band. Let's call it band. Yeah, that's okay. Entity position, entity layer, entity size, color is white. Oh, that's daytime is greater than 0.7, then that's near black. Otherwise it's white. That's all just guessing. So emit put particle, and then when I need stripe. So that's gonna be a beetle that will appear when you get near it, and it will the alpha will fade in. So it's just a white dot. The alpha will fade in, and it will make a curvy. It'll make a few curves and then disappear. That's it. It's a glowworm, basically. I've had that before, and maybe I can get it to work again. So initialize the particle with defaults. Then put it at a random height. But close to the ground. And then the velocity. Velocity is random. And the where's the alpha? Okay, Shimmer doesn't have its alpha set, so it's probably fine. Velocity. So that should okay, don't want high vertical velocity. X and Y. So yeah, this should be faster. Maybe 1. But then I want this normalized. Okay. Then the update function. This is standard. It actually, what is its lifetime? Yeah, 1 second is the default, I think. So that's good. So this just reduces the lifetime and creates a 0 to 1 value for how long it lives, how old it is. And then I set the, I just use, so this is the shimmer of the water. I just use the alpha equation for that one. Maybe that'll work. This is scaling the velocity. But what I want is, I want to add to the velocity. How do I make a vector? What's it? Undulate? How to, actually I can search it here. How do I get, I don't want DuckDuckGo. What's going on? How do I get the, what is it? The, is it orthogonal? Can you give me a picture? That's why no one understands math. Okay, I don't understand math. I was projecting. What is this? Orthogonal vector. Okay, projection. I want the projection. Wait, no, I don't want the projection. Yeah, that's what I want. That's what I want. Swap the coordinates and negate one of them. Okay. That's pretty easy. Do you understand what those math symbols mean? Because I have zero clue. Which ones? These here? These are pretty, I mean, that's just school math. But the images, I mean, no, not really. But I know what I want. I want a, so I have a vector for the, oh, are you joking? There's no vector image. God, okay, I have a vector, this red one. That's the direction the particle goes. And I want that's the velocity. So each frame the particle moves that far. But I want it to pivot a bit so that it makes this motion. For that I need the perpendicular vector, which is not drawn in here but goes off at an angle. And I use that one, scale it with a sine function so that it goes up this, up this, up this, up this, and then I add it to this vector. So this vector moves back and forth. That's the theory. Probably won't work because of math, but let's try. So I have v. What is v? Okay, that's the velocity. And then I need to update the velocity. Well, do I? I don't think so, actually. Okay, I can just do this here. Okay, I have the velocity. And then I don't think we did that type of math in school, but I didn't really do math anyways. Yeah, me neither. I learned this all while programming the game, and all the others I did. So I have the velocity, and what I want is to add to that the offset vector. And the offset vector is the vector. Wait, great. Well, it actually is. It's f. What is this? F3. Yeah, F3. Velocity y minus velocity x times dt, which doesn't work. And this is 0. So now this is the perpendicular vector, and I want a sine function in here as well. So let's scale this thing by PLV pi. Let's use the same thing as above times dt. So there's the offset. And if I add that, it might work. I found a new use case for AI to fix my broken Vim status line. This means that it's meant to show the current SVN and CVS revision. Hate Vim script. Yeah, AI is pretty good for Actually, it's only good for looking up things, but that includes looking up short scripts. But yeah, for everything more complicated is actually complete shit. That's what I found. But for example, well, actually for FFmpeg scripts is also pretty shitty because it it gives you the first solution it finds, and that's probably not what you want. But that's how it is. But granted, this half of the time it's me not knowing what I want. Okay, what does it complain about? Undeclared. Let's try. Oh. Shimmer. Okay. Okay, I've already forgotten. N3F. What are you talking about? Oh, it's not F3. Yeah, my naming is so scuffed. Clean and make run. Okay, let's hope that we see anything at all. Because not seeing anything is worst part. Okay, let's put some beetles down. And okay. I mean, it kind of works. It's just like, and they don't change direction, do they? I mean, there's way too many, but it's actually a good test. Okay, so they need more lifetime. Let's give them 3 seconds. And then this may need to be higher. No, they're definitely not swimming. Oh. I don't think that changes anything. Or they just go in a straight line. So sine goes from -1 to 1. Adding that should... Oh, okay. Now something's happening. Oh, that looks crazy. Why is the alpha scuffed now? What is happening? Okay. I mean, I'm not far off, but yeah, this is not how this should work. We need to normalize this. Oh, there it is. They're swimming. Erratically. But and yeah, I don't need it to be faster. Okay, what happened there? Oh, get it. Huh? I mean, it already looks like critters swarming out. I mean, it's not, but it's not what I wanted actually. For it to be so erratic. Weird. I mean, this would be good for a spider. Maybe I should do that. Okay. So this emits 3 times. And then stops. And actually, the color is always near black. Or it could be purple. Yeah. Let's keep it the same as the spiders. Oh. Works great. Oops, sorry. Yeah, it just worked. Where are they? Unbelievable. Oh, is it? No, it is the correct. Hey, how's it going? For how long have you worked on this game? Is it completely from scratch or is it based on lib like STL? I love the WoW music. Thanks, yeah. For 2 years. And it is completely from scratch, yes. That's one of the reasons why I can't get these stupid particle emitters to work. Well, what happened? Almost 400 wish lists. Hey, Fuzzlings, thanks. Yeah, that was all Reddit. That was all Reddit. Still at 378. I've also just embarked on a journey to build a game from scratch together with my oldest son. Any tips for someone just starting out who really depends on what you want to do, what kind of a game you want to do. But yeah, I mean, the most important advice is maybe just keep it simple and do it step by step. Notice it was at 387, but I'm sure if since you changed it. No, I haven't changed it. We're aiming for simple 2D dungeon crawler kind of a game. Then if you're going the roguelike ASCII route, then he's in love with Stardew Valley, so we're probably taking inspiration from it. So if you want to write an engine from scratch, then you can probably you'll need half a year to a year before you're at a stage where you can start thinking about implementing gameplay stuff. You want to write an engine from scratch. I mean, 2D is... So it took me a long time because I also did the editor in the game. And if you don't want to use an engine off the shelf, then remember to have fun. Let it become a sad chore. Yeah, that's also super important. I've written it in C, just in C and OpenGL. Number one is always keep it. How do I explain this? Always have something to validate what you're working on. I think I do either C or J. Haven't decided yet. Okay, so when you add something, always have, so don't program blind. That's the advice. Don't program blind. Always have something on screen or in the terminal to validate what you're trying to do is working. never go too long without having a test. So, because let's say you're adding a new feature to your game, like 2D collisions, you always want to have something to validate if what you're doing is working or not. Because otherwise you might well, this is pretty hard to explain, but well, it might not be hard to explain, but I'm struggling for the words. Yeah, you want to take small little steps and validate all the time. So you don't work on something where you work on something for a week and then you realize that it doesn't even fulfill all the things that you need and will never. So you'll have to backtrack and try a different solution. But if you would have, so that's talking from speaking from experience. But if you would have just validated along the way, then you would have known after a day that this wasn't going to work, and you've switched to a better solution. I think you're saying that I should avoid coding in a void. Basically, I was hoping to build out the engine. Build out the game, but perhaps that's not a viable path. Yeah, no, sure, it's a viable path, totally. It's actually what I would recommend. So writing an engine and writing a game are two different things, but not because they are inherently separate, but because an engine is something that would work with any game. So an engine is something that you can program many games with. But what I would advise you do is program a game, not an engine. So that then will lead to programming both of them side by side. I know it's wording, but I think the mindset is really important. Yeah, I was thinking we set out small goals like render the tile set and then the necessary parts to the engine to solve for that goal. Yeah, exactly. So don't build in an entity component system or something because you think that's the next step. You should find out what happens in your game and what the player does in the game, and then build the systems from what you want in the game, not the other way around. So that's what I would advise. But yeah, other than that, if you were a solo programmer, I would say work on the game every day, even if it's just 5 minutes, because that keeps your working memory of the game active. Because especially in the start, if you're building fast, it's hard to not forget how your code works. If you're at it every day, that's much easier. That's another thing. And yeah. And another last tip, but that's just basic programming, is always implement the stupid solution first, because before you go for the elegant performance optimized solution. So always go for plan B first. That just works. Because this game that I did is everything it's just the simple way out. And I think that's why I kept my sanity through all of this. But yeah. So cutting corners is always good if it gives you the same end result. Of course, that has many caveats, like don't leave your code in a broken state and etc, etc. But I always go for the easy thing. And complexity comes on its own. First make it worth, then make it smart. Optional. Correct. The second part is optional. And there were many situations where I thought, oh my god, this will never work performance-wise. For example, the editor, the editor did 15,000 render calls each frame, and I was tempted to batch the render calls, put everything in VBOs, which would have taken another week or so. But I just tried it, and it worked flawlessly with 15,000 render calls. So yeah. And I mean that if I would have put it in VBOs, etc., that work would have multiplied, because everything becomes harder to change. So you're not as agile in changing the code, adding new features. That slows you down. So that's actually maybe the most important advice, is keeping it simple. Loves the aesthetics of your game. Thanks. Very kind. Yeah, all these colors are actually great. I downloaded some. So I'm a fan of impressionist painting, and I downloaded a couple of images that I really like. Not images, but pictures. Paintings. Pictures of paintings. And I uploaded them in a palette generator. And then those are the colors in the game. Which was lucky. I mean, I tweaked them here and there, but because I followed the NES color palette scheme, which is just a base color and then increases in values, and yeah, that's how I did it. Okay, that's still a bit much fog. Let's tone down the fog. Maybe 8, half as much. Okay, these are all static. Maybe I'll throw some of them away. quite sure what their radius is, but it's pretty large. Also love the bare minimum Vim setup. I have a similar setup, although I code in Nano. Oh, okay. Oops. Yeah, I mean, that's just the setup I landed on by using OpenBSD. It's basically OpenBSD desktop on Debian. Oh, potion. Great. Okay. Make status. Why aren't... Oh, I think I spawned the wrong ones. Yep. Okay, there's hope. There's actual hope. Oh, there they are. Okay, look pretty shitty, but why are they so... why are they moving so angularly? What? Don't think that's a word. Oh, okay, this one made a curve. I'm currently running on Mac OS because I haven't had time to put my new graphics card on my desktop. Yeah, I've been using Mac for 20 years, but I switched, I think 3 years ago or so, to OpenBSD. That was. Need to be shorter. Okay, that's not working. I hate it, but work requires it. macOS have just gotten worse and worse over the years. Yeah. I mean, it's still better than Windows, but it's definitely gotten worse. Usually run FreeBSD on my desktop computer. I tried that, but I really didn't understand it. But yeah, I've been using OpenBSD for 3 years, but now I'm on Debian because the game requires it. It's a maintenance mode. Okay. Okay, that was too... I think the alpha was bad. Okay, that kind of works. I would prefer them to be black, but I think they will just disappear. But that also might be a cool effect. Oh, that is a cool effect. That's pretty spooky. So maybe let's not give them an alpha. Where are they? Oh, there they are. That's actually pretty cool. Okay, let's abuse this for everything. Let's not make it 3. But let's make it... Well, actually, this should be pretty close. And let's give this a lifetime. Hmm, 3 seconds maybe. 2 to 3 maybe. Okay, needs to be faster. 2, 2, 2, 2. Need to clamp it. Oh, it's normalized. That's stupid. Scale 2. RF 1, 2. And then yeah, I need that. Where are they? Hello? Okay, I killed them. Oh, there they are. There's one. Why do they slow down? Oh, it's starting to hail. Not good. Don't like that. Now it decided to swim. Okay, but badly. Yeah, I mean, anyways, guys, I think I'll stop for today. The particles, maybe I'll just add one. And yeah, I'll look at the intro screen. Maybe I can make one pretty fast tonight, and then I'll show it to you tomorrow. So yeah, I'll be back tomorrow. Probably afternoon, same time, that's 1 p.m. CET. And yeah. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks, Hofstetter, for coming into the stream. You too, Ethan. Thanks. Hit the follow button. Probably catch more streaming again. Thanks for the follow. Yeah, tomorrow is okay. I have tomorrow and then Sunday for stuff I want to add to the game, but then I'm locking it. And Monday, Tuesday, I'll just be on Windows playing the game. So let's see what I can add tomorrow and on Sunday. Yeah, we'll see. Feature code freeze, yeah, on Sunday. So I'll work on it on Sunday on some features maybe, but then it'll be frozen until a couple of days after release. Yeah, that's the plan. And on Monday, yeah, I think I've talked about it yesterday, but on Monday I'll create a new trailer and maybe post on Reddit again in another subreddit. So yeah, there's stuff to do apart from working on the game, of course. All right, guys, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it really, very much. And take care, Ethan. And then yeah, I'll be back tomorrow. All right, have a good one, guys. Bye.